can't believe I'm making this video right now. I really can't. I actually was in the shower and I had a shower thought. I already knew I was going to do coverage on this game, but I was thinking to myself like, hey, maybe I should make, the gratuitous kind of end of year, what's my best game type of thing. And I was like thinking, well, what is that game? There was like Voidfall, which I absolutely loved. I really liked Barcelona. Gosh, I was exposed to Castles of Burgundy. I could do another kind of, hey, I found this new for me game of the year type thing. What else? Planet Unknown was great. What else we got here? Oh, Great Western Trail New Zealand was great. Oh, and of course, there's Too Many Bones Unbreakable. I'm a Too Many Bones freak. I love everything Ship Theory. Of course, that's got to be my game of the year. But no, it's fucking Dorfromantik. This game came out of nowhere for me. I added it in the shopping cart with Game Nerds just to get free shipping. I didn't even know if I'd ever even get it to the table. Maybe use it as some trade bait on BGG. Maybe get 1 or 2 games in. It's a campaign game. People say it's not even a game. It's already a video game, but it's more of an activity. I heard all this stuff about it, but I did hear it was great, right? I don't think this is a novel take, that this is a great, I'll say, activity for now, but I definitely did not think, after naming some of those other deep, in-depth games that I've done coverage on and have absolutely loved, that this thing would, number one, sit in my best game of the year spot and also dominate kind of the last 3 weeks of my life. Now, is it in my top 100? I don't do those lists or anything, but is it in my top 100, 10, 5, whatever life? No, it's probably not. It's probably gonna have a life cycle, but it's been a really unique journey with this game. And I'm gonna describe a little bit about what the heck this thing is, what I like, what I don't like, and answer the question, is this thing even a game or is it an activity? So Dorfromantik has been in existence since 2021. It came onto the scene as a video game and has been converted into a board game. Many enjoy it. In fact, it has a very respectable 7.7 rating on BGG, a feat that is even more impressive if you are to believe the narrative that many have, that this isn't actually a game. So what the heck is this? I think one of the beauties here is I can sum this game up in 4 words: take tile, place tile. That is literally all you really need to know to start this game. It's a 1 to 6 player cooperative campaign experience that reveals itself more and more the more games you play, which we'll get into that. And really, in the first couple games, you have a couple of goals. You want to complete tasks. There should always be 3 tasks on the board. In fact, you start the game by drawing task unique tiles. As you flip them, they're going to give you a symbol. That symbol is connected to a terrain type and a little task marker. You flip one of those and there's a number on the task marker that's connected to the number of that terrain that has to be connected to complete that task. It's a lot to say, but that's really all you're trying to do. You have 3 of those on the board at any given time, no more, no less, because the moment that you complete one, you have to go back to those task tiles, draw a new one, place it on the board. And the second thing you're thinking about, kind of nests with it, is you're trying to create the largest sections possible of each terrain. Every once in a while, when you pull some of these normal terrain tiles, you're going to find a flag on it. And those are really important because you want to have those connected to their corresponding terrain, but you want that terrain to be completely closed in. And when it is completely closed in, you then get to score points, 1 point per tile that has the terrain type that's connected to the flag that's completely closed in. Pretty simple concept, but the rub comes is you don't know what kind of tiles you're going to draw, and very often you're drawing the wrong tile at the wrong time. So you start to tangent in your map and build these offshoots that might have nothing to do with any of your goals because you're trying to dig and get the right goal at the right time. You continue play until all of the landscape tiles are used. The task tiles don't matter. In fact, a lot of times you're stuck with a bunch of the task tiles left, meaning you didn't complete many of those tasks, meaning you're not going to score a ton of points, meaning you're not going to unlock more cooler, better stuff. Because after you're done playing, you look to see if you've unlocked any of these achievement cards that are sitting on the side of your game. And those achievement cards grow game after game because you're cross-referencing your score with a number of steps that you can move up on your campaign sheet. And as you move further up in these branching areas, it's your choice. You unlock new stuff, you unlock new boxes, you unlock new things within those boxes, and those things vary. Those things basically can be summed up as some are extra abilities that might help you meet your goals, but really they're more and more scoring opportunities. So the game is naturally progressing your ability to score more and more points. The gold standard is 400 points. That's kind of the end game, if you can ever hit that. Many games, especially early on, you really struggle to get above that 200 point mark, which is a major achievement that you actually have to cross off in your journey. But the game still does a really good job of naturally progressing you and giving you more and more of these opportunities to score more and more points, even if you aren't winning. So the things I like, just like I said, that constant progression. You might feel like you didn't do that great, but you can still continue to move on that campaign sheet, basically no matter what. And every game to couple games, you're unlocking something new. You're getting a new tile that gets mixed in that will give you bonuses when you have things connected to it. Or there's an idea of hearts, and surrounding those hearts properly gets you more points. And there's special tiles that give you new conditions to score points. So it's slowly adding complexity into what is such a simple game. Take tile, place tile, take tile, place tile. But slowly that side of your table is being gobbled up by all of these achievement cards, and it starts to become this incredibly complex puzzle that is nearly impossible to pay attention completely to. The other thing I like, which is I just referenced, the rule set to begin with is literally almost nothing, and you can have anybody play this game. I mean, absolutely anybody. You can also have them jump in and out of a campaign. You can be playing by yourself and then have somebody else come in and start to lay tiles with you. They can even pop out in the middle of the game. It really doesn't matter. It's just so simple to teach. Hey, grab that tile and put it somewhere. You know, they may not understand the nuances. You can give them the general ideas, like terrains that are next to each other are probably good. You see these 3 task markers? Let's connect things to those, right? Like that's all it is. But then the game does this really great job of progressing that level of complexity as you go. And if you're playing this with somebody else over multiple plays, the shared experience of better understanding on how to score things and then constantly giving your brain a new challenge by unlocking new abilities to score is just this really great combination of simple to complex progression. And the other thing is, the playtime is so quick. I will say, with a bunch of players that don't really understand what's going on, and when you have a bunch of achievements, that could definitely slow it down. But as a 1 or 2 player experience, this is done in like 30 minutes for us. I mean, we just kind of run through it, and it's one of those games where it's like, hey, let's reset and play again. Let's reset and play again. Let's reset and play again. It's just really fast and addictive to kind of keep going, but it's deep and complex because of that campaign component. So there are some things I don't like. I mean, it is my game of the year, but there's always things that kind of rub you wrong, and it's luck. The luck of the draw on this game can drive you insane. In fact, you can get to a point where you get 3 early goals, and sometimes they could be duplicate goals, and you just keep drawing the railroads with the rivers, and you don't even have a task for that. And that really pigeonholes you, because on both of those tile types, you have to always place a like tile. There's other ones where you can place whatever you want next to it. You can get yourself out of a pickle or be inefficient, but it can totally stymie your game. And we have had games where we're like 3 or 4 minutes into it, and we just know it's not going to work out in our favor. And we say, let's just scratch this and reset because that was awful. I don't like that feeling. I think that's tough. I will say there are some mechanics that I won't spoil that are unlocked that help with that. The next thing, and only other thing I really don't like, is this thing at high player counts. I think it's brutal at high player counts. I think it's hard for you to feel like you're actually doing something. Higher player counts, in our experience, you're playing with people that don't really know what they're doing, and they're messing up your puzzle. And, you know, it's just, I think it's a delightful, probably best at solo. I think it's a wonderful campaign shared experience with somebody else. In my family, we've kind of rotated players a little bit, whoever's available to play. We've continued to kind of like just progress independent of everybody. And that's really why it's gotten so much play, because there's always somebody that's ready to play Dorf. And back to the solo thing, my wife is geeked out so hard on this thing that she hasn't ever filled out the campaign sheet, but from whatever spot we're at, she'll just play 5, 6, 7, I think up to 10 games in a row all night long, trying to hit a certain point mark. And, you know, to give you a window into the personality of somebody that might do that, she loves puzzles. She's the type of person that will sit down at a puzzle for hours and hours on end, and will just kind of do the puzzle until it's complete. That bores me to death. That is mind numbing. But this engages that puzzle part of the brain along with kind of the board game part of the brain, where you're actually trying to kind of achieve a high score. So lastly, is this thing a game? Well, first off, if any reviewer out there has played this thing a couple times and they're giving any sort of take on it, I think the game is being shortchanged. And I say game as a pretty blatant foreshadow. It's like, yeah, I think this thing is a game. This reveals itself and its complexity, play after play after play. And the beauty of it only becomes apparent after 10, 20, even 30 plays. And if you also come from a background who's never played a video game, and video games do this in a really great way, hence this is started as a video game, is this idea of character progression that allows you to start really, really weak. And the game might be open for you to go to these harder areas, but you're going to get beat down every time. You need to go and do the work to progress yourself, to become strong enough to be able to go and beat the thing. This hits on those kind of video game like dopamine connections for me, because it gives that level of progression that I've already kind of talked in depth about. And it is constantly revealing itself as something more and more complex. The game is not won and lost, and I think many have made that point. It's like, well, you can't win, you can't really lose. So it's just a game that kind of like goes forever until you hit that kind of magic 400 point mark. But that's the game. The game is this skill progression and also the natural game progression that doesn't make you feel like all is lost each and every game. It's just this really smart kind of psychological mechanism it's employing to get you to keep playing, even if you are playing a bad game. It's not an activity. My wife might use it for an activity all night long, but she's still playing a game. She's still trying to improve on her score over and over and over again. So it's a game as much as any other video game is. Many video games you don't win in one session. You win in mini session over many hours, and this is the same thing. And it reveals itself as a more complex, better puzzle the more you play it. Bottom line, this thing is a game. It is a great game. It's one in which I never thought I would like nor love. I never thought it would be my game of the year if I made to choose one. And I'll caveat, there's some really great games out there. I really loved Voidfall, by the way. But this thing, with just its simplicity and how much joy it's brought to the family and brought us together, and it's now this consistent activity that we've done over a 3 or 4 week period now, it's just been invaluable. And I think if any of those things hit for you, it might be a really good thing to get. Heck, if you're a solo player, I think it's wonderful. But also, if you just want a fun, shared, easy experience for literally anybody, go grab it. It's literally spectacular. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And on that note, I'm out of here.